Hi, everybody. Welcome to our webinar on the area of interest enhancements that we've recently made. We're glad you're here joining us. Just to go through a little housekeeping, you are automatically muted. Because we have such a small group today, when we get at the end and we start having questions and answers and discussion, we'll turn on that raise hand option and we'll be able to unmute you if that's your preference, or go ahead and just, as we're going through, type in your questions in the chat box there, and we've got people here monitoring it, and we'll be answering your questions as we go through. We are also being recorded, so this webinar will be available later. To introduce your instructors today, I'm Ruth Roaza. I'm with OEM. I'm the environmental process analyst, and I help lead the environmental screening tool team. And with me today is Pete McGilvery. He is our administrator and the director head of the ETDM program, so he's here to answer the tough questions. And I've got Stephanie Clemens here with me. Many of you know her. She heads up our help desk. And Mike Konikoff, who is our project manager and the senior programmer on the environmental screening tool. And Bill Beers, who is another senior programmer who is also the creator of the area of interest tool, and he'll be giving some of the demonstrations today. So in order for us to kind of get a feel for where you're coming from and how long you've been using this tool, I'm just going to run through a couple quick polls. The first one is, how long have you been using the Aoi tool? So if you will go ahead and answer that. Appreciate it. And now I'll close the poll and share it, the results. So it looks like we've got 24% are just learning about it. We've got some people that have just started. And so we got a good mix of people. Looks like around half of people have been using it for a long time. So we're glad you're here with us. The next question is, we're just wondering if you have used that new dashboard that just got released. And looks like we've got most people have answered already. So I'll share the results. Most people have not started it. So good. This is good, good webinar for you, because that's what we're going to be highlighting today. We actually have 3 demonstrations to show you today. The first one is using that new dashboard. The second one is creating an Aoi, which for those of you who have used this a long time, that's not new to you, but it's a good refresher. And for the people who haven't used it yet, it'll be good to know. And then we'll be highlighting the report enhancements. So I am going to show, the first 2 demonstrations are actually videos. So I'll be showing those videos, and when I do that, just keep in mind that it might open up in a different window for you, and it might be under something. So look around on your monitors if it's not popping up. And also, your audio on these videos is controlled by your own computer, not by the go-to software. So you may need to adjust your volume. So I'm going to go ahead and share those videos now. The first one, like I said, is a demonstration of the new dashboard and show you a little bit around the new site as well.
The demonstration for the Area of Interest or AOI dashboard is performed on our testing server using test accounts as well as fake projects and documents. No real data is transmitted to users. Now let's log in and get started. On the EST login page, type your username and password. If you've forgotten your password, click the Forgot Password button and you will be prompted to enter your username and email address. Click Sign In and the EST homepage is displayed. There are two ways to access the AOI dashboard. Use the left-hand menu and click Area of Interest, or if you're on the EST homepage, use the AOI dashboard quick link found on the right side of the page. The blue box at the top of the dashboard displays information for creating or modifying an AOI, as well as how to view Aoi Details. I'll go into these in more detail, beginning with Create or Modify Aoi. The information presented under this heading provides brief instructions for opening the map viewer and getting started with the Aoi Editor Tool, as well as a link to view printable help documentation to guide you through creating or editing an AOI. I'll open the map viewer and briefly discuss the Aoi Editor Tool. Click the globe icon in the upper right of the EST. The map viewer opens in a new tab and the magnification is defaulted to the state level. On the left side of the map viewer in the Tools panel, the Aoi Editor tool is displayed. Click on the blue header to collapse or expand the tool. Within the Aoi Editor tool, click the appropriate button to create a new or open a previously created AOI. For more information creating or editing an AOI in the map viewer, click a link to view the printable help documentation or watch a training video. Return to the dashboard by clicking the appropriate tab in your internet browser. Now that I'm back on the Aoi dashboard, the remaining information in the blue box highlights additional features of the dashboard and the table displayed below. AOIs that have not yet expired and AOIs that have expired within the past 90 days are automatically displayed in the table. Specify which expired AOIs to display in the table by selecting an option from the drop-down that would include AOIs that expired in the last 90 days, 180 days, the last year, or all expired AOIs, followed by the Submit button. The table includes various functionality features such as selecting the number of entries to display, sorting columns in ascending or descending order, searching or filtering columns. ClearSave Search will clear any sort, filter, or search criteria that was used on the table. Change which columns to display or hide using the Column Visibility button. Copy the data to your clipboard or download an Excel or CSV file. If applicable, navigate to additional entries using the Previous, Next, or Number buttons below the table. In the table, click an AOI name to reveal a menu. Currently active AOIs include the following options: Aoi Details, View on Map, Edit on Map, and Extend. I'll start with Aoi Details. Click this option and the Aoi Details page will open. The Aoi Details page includes links to geospatial analysis reports and hard copy maps that have been generated for the AOI. Click on a header to expand this section and reveal the available reports or maps. Return to the dashboard by clicking Area of Interest in the left-hand menu. The next option is to view on map. This opens the map viewer in a new tab and loads a read-only view of the AOI. Edit on Map opens the map viewer and loads the AOI for editing. Use the Aoi Editor Tool to perform any necessary edits. Extend the Aoi expiration date for up to 1 year by entering the number of days in the field and clicking the Extend button. Expired AOIs include the same options as active AOIs, excluding the option for extending. Instead, enter the number of days in the field and click the Restore button to reactivate the AOI for a set duration.
Great. I hope you found that helpful. As we continue, I did want to make sure that you have the URL for our new site, because that you can still access the EST on our old site. I mean, yeah, and the AOI through the old site. But if you do, because that one's dependent on Internet Explorer, you won't get the advantages of being able to use a modern browser of your choice like Chrome or Edge. So I did want to make sure you had this new URL, which is where you would access the new dashboard. The new dashboard is not on the old EST. We just put it on the new site. Does anybody have any questions about the dashboard at this point? Stephanie, are you seeing any?
Not at this time.
Okay, so we will move on to the next demonstration then. And this one is the basic functionality of the AOI on the map viewer, how to create and edit the features.
Hello and welcome to the Area of Interest Editor training video. I'm going to be demonstrating how we use the new Area of Interest Editor in the new map viewer. To begin, just get you oriented. The Aoi Editor's main interface is here in the left menu section of the new map viewer. You'll see it listed about halfway down. It has options for creating a new one, opening an existing one, and a link to this video. To begin, I'm going to create my test AOI and give it. You have to give it a type. This is required. It's really only there to help you organize and categorize areas of interest. It doesn't have any bearing on how the AOI is treated, how long it's kept for, any other information other than just helping you to organize them. I'm going to choose Other. The description is optional. Keep Until, that specifies how long it will take before the AOI expires. We keep them by default for 1 month. Once they're expired, they're still in the system, but they don't show up in the list by default. That's just to help keep things from getting too cluttered over time. I'm going to keep the default and click the next button to get to the main interface for listing out the features. The features are the points, lines, and polygons that comprise the area of interest. To begin, I'm going to demonstrate adding a point via an address. Just begin typing in. Once you've got enough of an address in there, the system will start auto-completing it. It will put the point on the map, give you a little buffer around it based on that buffer distance that you've got entered in there, and name it based on the address. You can also add it via lat long. It really doesn't matter whether you put it in as lat long or long lat. It doesn't matter whether you use decimal degrees or degrees, minutes, seconds. It'll sort it out. Go ahead and add this in this format. Click the Go button next to the lat long field, and it will put it on the map, slightly off to our west. You'll notice now that I've got a couple of them on there, one of them is highlighted and its name is editable. If I click this other one, the other one becomes highlighted and I can change its name or its buffer distance. You can also just click on the feature or its buffer on the map to do the same thing of selecting them. So it's tied together as to what features are shown on the map and the ones that are shown in the list. And lastly, as far as points are concerned, I'm going to demonstrate entering it via roadway and milepost. You'll notice that the default name for the ones entered via roadway and milepost is the roadway ID and milepost. You can use the same roadway and milepost in creating a new line. I'll demonstrate it by just adding an end milepost of 9. And you can see it's going to take a line from that milepost 7 that we put in there all the way up to milepost 9. Along the way, we have a break in that, so we get our first line from 7 to 7.844, and then it picks up from 7.844 all the way to 9. So we wind up getting 2 features with that one action. See, that one is highlighted there, and this one is highlighted over here. I'm going to demonstrate using the interactive digitizing tools or drawing tools. To begin with, I'm going to show you drawing a point on a map. That's very simple. Select that button, puts it in draw point mode. Just click anywhere on the map to add that point. You can see it shows up there as feature 1. That's just its default name. Digitizing lines is similar, except there's a little bit more clicking involved. I will draw a line on the map and start drawing by just clicking on the map at each place where I want to have a vertex of that line. And when you're done, you double click and that will give you your line. You'll see the vertices that you drew in gray and the little white pseudo vertices that are in between them are places where you can add a new one. So if you want to smooth out a curve, you can do that by just selecting one of those and drag, and you will get a little bit more of a roundedness to it by adding a vertex along the line. You can also just move existing vertices around. The other way to digitize a line is using the freehand tool. Click the Add Feature button, click the Draw Freehand Line on Map. It's similar, except what you do is you click and hold the mouse button down and then move the mouse and it will draw along wherever your cursor goes until you release the mouse button. You'll notice that that creates a lot more vertices along the way. It does get a little bit smoother, easier to do, but it will maybe introduce a little bit more noise to it. It's up to you, whichever way works for getting the feature in there the way you'd like to see it. The last couple of tools I want to demonstrate are related to creating polygons. Let me just scroll down a little bit here and click the Add Feature button. On the New Polygon tab, you will see the Draw Polygon and Draw Freehand Polygon buttons. They're similar to the Draw Line and Draw Freehand Line capabilities. Just click for each vertex you want to add to the map and double click to complete. The freehand polygon I should say, is similar to the freehand line. You just click and hold and move the mouse around until your polygon is complete and then release the mouse button. When you're done digitizing, click the next button. That will take you to an optional screen, the analysis areas grouping capabilities. This is going to be a subject of another video where I go into some of the more advanced new capabilities of the map viewer of the Aoi editor. For now, just click next to get past that. You'll see some saving information flash up on the screen. Then you get to the report options screen. This allows you to choose what types of reports you want to create. I'm going to choose just the standard EST study area report and click Run. The analysis will start. The screen, after it's queued up, the screen will refresh to give you a progress showing you whether or not the project is complete. I'm running on a test server right now, so the reports are not being queued up, so we're getting that error message. That's something you would see if something went wrong. Do go ahead and call the help desk if you see that in a normal working environment. Come back to this screen after a short while, and you will see links on this particular part of the screen. You'll see the links to whichever reports you requested and see the results for it. You can close this and continue working on creating other areas of interest and come back in and check on it. To reopen the area of interest or to open a different area of interest, just click on the Open button. You'll get a list of all of the area of interest that you have created, or optionally, all for your organization by just clicking the All For button, and you'll see all of them that have been created. If you've got more than one organization that your account is associated with, you'll see this as a drop-down list, allowing you to choose which organization you want to be working with. I'm going to reopen the one that I created and skip right to the results screen by just clicking the results button. That takes you right to that last screen, showing you the progress, the links if the reports are finished or the maps are finished, whatever options you've chosen. These will turn into links that you can follow to get to the results of the various types of analysis that the system will do. That is the end of this video. Check back later. We'll have another video to go into some more detail about some of the advanced capabilities of the Aoi editor. Thanks very much.
Okay, any questions about the basic functionality of the Aoi editor?
I'm not seeing anything at this time.
Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to Bill, who's going to show some of the enhancements that we've made to the reports. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Ruth. I get the screen sharing going. Change presenter. Okay, thanks everybody. I'm going to pick up sort of where that last video left off in the last screen of the Aoi editor, where you can click a link that takes you to the study area report. So this GIS analysis report page is your window to get pre-created reports of the intersection of that Aoi with all of these possible layers and hundreds of layers and dozens of topics. You can get into the system, get into any of those at the top of the screen by just clicking on the link. So these are PDFs organized by topic with your analysis results. For those of you, this is going to be kind of familiar for those of you who've seen it from the old site. The main thing that's different is just sort of our navigation on the left is different, and we have this table of contents on the right that lets you move around within the page.
Bill, we're still seeing the map viewer.
You are.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it doing that? Okay, sorry about that. I had the screen paused.
It's okay. Thank you.
got stuck on that. Okay, so real quick, you're clicking this link, it's taking you to this page. So let me just recap that. The new page has most of the same content, just a little bit of a layout difference. We have our table of contents on the right, helps you find your way through the page. At the top of the page are links to cached reports. These are PDF reports that have all of the information organized by topic. Below that, you can get to a spot where you can run saved GIS reports. You click on that, click load and edit, and it will run a report you've previously created. I'm not going to go into too much more detail about that right now. I really want to focus on the things that are new. So I'm going to pick a couple of topics. You'll notice as I pick a topic that it fills in the layers that are associated with that topic, or the analysis types, really. And let me pick this one as well, wetlands and surface waters, and pick a couple of good ones to show you. FDP, Eric sites, and we'll pick these two. So once you've picked some analysis types to run, you just click the Run Report button down at the bottom of the page, and you'll get your result. These are organized very similarly to the PDF reports, but we have a couple of enhancements that are available only in the HTML version, and only in this new version. The first thing you might notice is that the tables that include the information that we have are now a little more interactive. They used to just be, a table shown on the screen. Now you can click on these columns to reorganize the information in any of the tables. We had this in the old report, but it's, I think, a little bit cleaner in the new one. We've got links to our maps. You can, for point type features like this, where we can say that we've got one site, one location, you can actually click on either of these links and it'll open up a map. The Google map just takes you to that location and drops a pin where that is. Our map, the EST map viewer, does something similar. Takes you to that location, zooms in on it, and drops a pin on it. You'll also see this yellow line that represents our area of interest as I zoom out. So I had a line drawn for this one, and then it buffered it out. And then just by clicking on that link, the data that I'm interested in shows up. The FDEP environmental restoration cleanup sites show up, so we can see exactly which one that was talking about, as well as the general area of the analysis area that the AOI is using. Similarly, if you want to see like all of those, you can click on this Show on Map link, and that is going to take you to the full extent of the AOI and then load that layer into the map. I already had it loaded in there, so it didn't do anything very differently, but let me pick a different layer so you can see wetlands being added to the map. You'll notice it's going back to the same map viewer window. So we're able to control the content of the map viewer by just simply clicking on links in the report. And again, as with the summary results that you see up at the top, you can click on these links to sort the information. So if you want to sort it by which are the ones that have the most acreage, you can click on that and it'll sort descending. Click it again to sort ascending, or sort alphabetically by reverse or forward alphabetical order by just clicking on that right there. These little arrows give you an indication as to which column has the sort and what direction it's being sorted. And that's a quick run through of what's new in it. But we're open to any questions you have if you want me to go through anything in any more detail.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
So now would be a good time if anybody has any questions. Were there any questions in the?
Cynthia did ask, is the EST now compatible with Edge and other modern browsers? And he responded to her that much of it is available in Edge and the other modern browsers, but there's still some of the data entry tools that are used by the district for the ETDM projects that are not, they're still, you have to use Internet Explorer for those. But the AOI features, map viewer, that's all available in modern browsers.
Thank you. Any more questions? If not, oh, go ahead.
One more. Asia asks, can data layers feature labels be turned on to show on the map?
That's a good question. Some of the layers do have labels defined for them, and they do have, some of the layers have like a separate, within one map service, you might have a labeled layer, one that you can toggle on and off. But as far as like turning on labels for this one, if it's not defined in there, we don't have a tool that lets you do that. It is something we could talk to Lex about whether or not to add them. A concern is that they, very quickly, especially with things like contamination, can just overwhelm the map with too much information. You can click on individual dots on the map to get information about it, but we don't have, like with ArcMap, something that just turns on labels automatically. So if there's a particular type of layer or a particular thing that you would want to see labeled, please do write us at the help desk and let us know, because we can maybe able to accommodate that. Oh,
What?
sorry, I just saw a chat from Mike. I'm trying to get my screen to come back here. Okay, so Mike wrote and asked me to show the difference between intersecting SDR and standard SDR, because this is something relatively new as well. So we have two different kinds of reports. They're both PDFs, and it's just a difference in how the analyses are performed.
Don't forget to share your screen.
I'm not?
Nope.
No.
GoToMeeting has just done a bad job of giving you any visual feedback that sharing is on.
Now you've
It used
got
to be like a glowing box around the window to let you know.
Yeah.
Now
it's just
okay,
a little.
so we have two different kinds of SDRs now: the intersecting or clipping one, and the standard one. And there is a difference between the two. And let me find Lex's explanation of it, because I closed that window before remembering to do this part. Okay, so the original type of report was this one here. And we refer to this as the clipping one. And it's used to estimate the actual population more accurately, adjust the geographic area and data of affected block groups using some detailed methodology. It deletes overlapping census blocks with extremely low populations. It removes the portion of the block group that lies outside of the analysis area, and it recalculates the demographics, assuming an equal area distribution of the population. Our new report, which you get to just by clicking that link, laid out the same, looks very, very much the same. This word is different, so you know which one you're looking at. This doesn't adjust the geographic area or data of affected block groups. It includes demographic summaries from any block group that overlaps the project alternative buffer or AOI boundary. The population that falls out of the SDR analysis area may be included in the results with this one. So that's the difference between these two kinds of reports.
The little icon at the top there kind of gives you an indication. If you look at this one, the intersecting, it's taking the universe of your area of interest, plus the universe of any of the census block groups that overlap with that, and it includes all of the information. So all of the information about the demographics of the census information is included. On the clipping one, it's taking the area of interest plus the
The
census,
circle.
and it's just cutting out the parts of the census block groups that don't fall within the area of interest. And so it's doing an equal area analysis, kind of assuming an equal distribution of the people within that block group, because the census data doesn't give the exact locations of where those people live. So it's trying to give a closer estimate of who might actually be in that particular area of interest. These are both standard analysis types for demographic studies, and it really depends on your study area, which one is more appropriate. If you're in an urban area that there's a lot of, actual blocks and a lot of people, it's very dense, then probably that clipping might be a little bit more accurate of what's really out there. Whereas if you're in a rural area, you got the problem of the block groups are much bigger and people are spread out more. You might want to get the intersecting. The intersecting is kind of erring on the conservative, making sure you get everybody. And the clipping is kind of just focusing what's actually, can I get a better handle on what's actually going on in that circle, in that area of interest. So hopefully that makes sense. We have some people prefer one over the other. And like I said, both of them are acceptable ways of studying demographics. Any more questions?
Let's see. I'm not seeing anything.
Okay, I think we covered the basics. We covered the enhancements that have been going on. Again, let me share my screen because I've got some contact information on it, or how to contact us and how to get more information. There we go. So if you, Bill pointed out where to get help when you're on the map viewer. It's found under the Aoi tool itself. We also have a Est Handbook, which is a multimedia help compilation, and it has the videos and simple steps. A simple step is like a one page that you're looking at a screen and it says 1, 2, 3, 4, do these steps, and then you can get through your task. We also have quick guides, which are a little bit bigger than that. They kind of describe a process, and it may take you a couple pages or a couple forms to do that process, but it kind of pulls it all together into a big picture kind of look for you. And then of course we got our videos that on a variety of topics. The videos, if you don't have access to the environmental screening tool or the Aoi yet and you're just learning about it, our OEM website has our videos on there under our training program as well. It's found in the ETDM section. And again, our contact information, if you need help, please contact us at the help desk. There's our email and phone number right there. You can also find it at the bottom of all the pages on the EST and on the map viewer itself. And I know Bill was showing you how to get to those reports and stuff through the map viewer itself, but just keep in mind, those are all available through that dashboard. You go to the dashboard and the detail page, and it's a very easy interface to find things. So when you're going back to your Aoi, you don't actually have to go to the map viewer. You can go to that dashboard now. So thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed the webinar, and let us know if you have any questions. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.